And, Mark, we'll give you a chance to get caught up with your picks.
Hey, great. Can't wait.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I don't think that's nice, though, Mark.
I know
Wow.
yours is going to be littered with stupid hockey things. But
Oh.
Actually, the first one on my list was a baseball one.
really?
Yes.
All right, give them to
All
Mark.
right.
See what you think
Yeah,
about this
well,
one, Mark.
just to give you an idea. Okay,
Right.
number 5 for me on my list was I love when there's a no-hitter going on, nobody talks to the pitcher, nobody sits near the pitcher, and nobody talks about a no-hitter happening. The announcers don't talk about it. Nobody talks about the no-hitter.
Well, announcers
when
talk
it's-
about
No,
it.
they don't.
Yes,
not
they
the
do.
good, not the good ones.
Oh, yes,
not
they
the good.
do.
Drew Goodman would never. Not that he really gets a chance that often,
Oh,
but Drew would never do it. When Herman who's pitching tonight? I actually know who's pitching tonight. No, I think it's Freeland. So when Kyle Freeland,
that no hitter will be over in the first pitch.
Wow.
So
Oh, man,
so when
that's not
Kyle
nice.
Freeland has a no-no going on at Shea Stadium tonight,
yeah, at
With-
the top
with-
of the first.
will you stop it? I guarantee you, Drew Goodman will
All right,
go to
all
great
right,
lengths,
all
and he'll
right.
make it obvious that there's a no-hitter going on without saying a no-hitter. That's my number 5 tradition. What was yours, Stoke? Stoke had some good ones, actually.
Did he?
He got me thinking.
I got to get it in order here.
Okay.
Mine was the walk-up song in baseball.
Yep.
And the Penn State whiteout game is a great tradition.
And then for me, number 4 was the Children's Hospital Hawkeye Wave at Iowa games when everybody stops and turns and waves to the kids in Children's Hospital during the football game. If you see that and your awesomeness isn't leaking out of you, you're just not human. So, great tradition. So,
And
Mark,
then my next one was Metallica intro, Virginia Tech football game.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
all right. So we'll give you a
Yeah.
chance to catch up a little bit later on this hour,
all right,
okay?
Good,
Fair
good.
enough.
I like that.
Is it just me Friday as well, giving you a chance to get those hot sports opinions off your chest?
I
Give
have
it to
one
us in the
hockey
form
one
of,
on here,
Is
though.
it just me?
I have one hockey one.
You
I
do?
do have
You
one
do?
hockey one. Yeah, just to
All
throw
right.
that out there.
All right. I wanted to save this for when you came on, Mark. We got a chance to hear from new Broncos safety Talanoa Hufanga yesterday, and he was talking about he and Dre Greenlaw, specifically what Dre Greenlaw will bring.
A lot of people don't know. He was my locker mate at 49ers, and he is my locker mate here as well. So something about him that's just a lot of people don't understand is how nice he is as a person, first and foremost. Like off the field, he is amazing. You won't think that when you watch him play because he's just very aggressive and is violent, and that's something that I love, the way that he can just flip the switch. But somebody that I'm truly blessed to be able to work with every day.
Guys, these additions, and Mark especially, because you've done enough 49er games to understand what these two bring, but I think we're all in agreement that defense last year, you give them a lot of credit for how well they were coached, how disciplined they were, how that was really a defense that was the sum is greater than the individual parts, but eventually it seemed like they got figured out. It definitely got leaky by the end of the season, and so as good as that defense was, they needed to add some impact guys so that you had some of those individual part players that are just really dynamic. And Mark, you tell me, because it sure looks like they added to with these two.
I don't think there's any question. We always talk about strength up the middle of the football field, right? And your ability to just really control the middle of the football field, and something they've had a tough time defending tight ends, all those things. So 100% with you. They got leaky at the end of last year. We've been talking about a linebacker that's a sideline to sideline, never have to come off the football field type of linebacker for the Broncos for a long time. And, injury issues notwithstanding, I mean, that's, for every position, but these two guys coming off of injuries. But if Hufanga and Greenlaw can play the kind of football that we've come accustomed to watching them play while they're in San Francisco, man, those are two huge signings for the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I think if you look at the weaknesses for this defense, it was probably inside linebacker. You could throw safety on there, right? And what else did you need? You needed more depth at the cornerback position. Riley Moss gets hurt, and next thing you know, Jameis Winston throwing for 700 yards and 10 touchdowns against us to Jerry Jeudy and guys we've never heard of. So that's what they addressed. I mean, they added to the cornerback room, and they got themselves an inside linebacker. We've been talking about inside linebacker since what's his name left up Super Bowl? Danny Trevathan left up Super Bowl 50. And now you got a playmaking safety. So it's like, wow, okay, those are the areas that you needed to address, and George Payton and Sean Payton addressed them.
Speaking of inside linebacker, Sean Payton talking about how they view Drew Sanders.
The vision's clear. Inside linebacker, we think he's a pressure player. So obviously there's ways where you can pressure that guy from a stack position or to an outside position. But, he's doing well handling it.
Sean fighting a cold. I didn't think they did Drew Sanders that well early on in his career. Were they guilty of kind of yanking him and jerking him around, moving him outside, moving him inside, kind of?
No,
rather than just pick a lane for him.
He just got hurt last year, I think, was a problem. You're trying to figure out what he can do and what he's best at, right? So you have him inside, and then you have him outside pass rushing. And, okay, which one is he better at? And then I think they were ready to put him in a position last year, and he got hurt towards Achilles during the offseason, I think, right? I mean, he wasn't even in training camp, if I'm remembering correctly there. And so he missed the majority of the season. I was shocked he came back. But now you know what you want him to do. You've been able to evaluate him for a couple years, and you know the position you want him to play at. And to me, it sounds like, okay, it's inside linebacker, but they love the fact that this guy can rush the passer. He can rush the passer, inside, or sometimes you might put him outside in some different packages and situations. So, we'll see what it looks like from Drew Sanders. But he's a guy that we haven't talked a lot about that could have some type of impact. How great would that be?
Guys, he's one of the easy Broncos to forget about, but this guy was a third-round pick, number 67 overall. And you guys know the draft, Mark, well enough to know that you're picking a player there with the idea he's going to be a starter for you. You project him to be a starter for you. So that's a guy that will bear some extra watching here during camp.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. I think Stoke's 100% right. You're trying to figure out what the guy is. And I remember you wanted them to draft Patrick Queen years ago. Remember that, Mike? And you remember the linebacker Patrick Queen?
Yeah, I bet. I go back to Kenneth Murray. I mean, I've wanted them to go get an inside linebacker for years.
But, it happened in Baltimore in 2020 when they drafted him. Like, they wanted him to play kind of middle linebacker, and he really struggled. Early in his career, he struggled, and they had to put him back out to kind of the outside linebacker. They wanted to transition more inside, and where they had to play him at like Will Backer. And I remember talking to their coordinator at the time going, he just hasn't been able to kind of get into the middle and dominate from that position. And it took him some time. So, you always have these kind of great intentions. Hey, this guy's an outside backer, but we're going to move him inside. He's going to be great. And sometimes it just takes a while to learn that and to have that feel. Sanders is an unbelievable athlete that could be a real pressure guy. Even if he's not starting, could be a nickel pass rush type of guy. That could be a really good place for him.
Yeah, I just think that'd be a great addition. I mean, he adds depth there. But to your point, Mike, that's an early third-round pick.
Yeah.
But we haven't got to see all of them.
No, I know.
I think when you look at a football player, right, we always say you expect the biggest jump is from year 1 to year 2, and then there we were, and he tears his Achilles. Nothing you can do about it. So it's a great opportunity for him. You got the whole offseason. You know the defense. You know the NFL. You're comfortable. Now can he take that step forward?
And that's why I talk about this defense, the sum being greater than the individual parts, is that give the Broncos credit and give these guys credit. They're solid pros. Give the Alex Singletons of the world, give the Josie Jewells of the world, give the Cody Bartons of the world credit for being solid pros. But let's be honest. When it comes to having dynamic linebackers, they just haven't had them for a long time. And so when you start talking about the likes of maybe what a Drew Sanders can do, what a Dre Greenlaw can do, you start to realize how much they've missed that kind of presence, Mark, in the middle of their defense.
Yeah, there is no question. And especially, when when you've got a guy that can do multiple things in the middle of your defense, then you don't become a tell. Like you're like, no, my guy can cover tight ends. He can be in one-on-one coverage. He can play zone. He can do all these things. When you become so specialized, you really have to tell an offense, hey, man, this is what we're expecting. This is what we're doing. Whether we're defend the run or we're defending the pass, or can we play with this particular player? Can we play man coverage? If we can't, then it's a tell you're in a zone. When you get a guy that has the ability to do everything, then you're not giving it away, as a defense, which I think is really, really important and something we really haven't had here.
Yeah, I mean, the game is played in the middle of the football field, and if you don't have guys that are dynamic that can help you out in the run and the pass, it's hard to be a good defense when you don't have that guy in the middle of the football field. So when you have the guy, it frees everyone else up, and it makes your defense so much better because, to Mark's point, you can do a little bit of everything with this guy.
But is having that middle linebacker? It used to be you always wanted that stud middle linebacker, the Ray Lewises, the Brian Urlacher types, the Danny Trevathan types. But you football guys keep telling me, well, it's changed a lot now. It's positionless defense out there, and your safeties can come up and play in the box, and you've got all these versatile guys that you no longer have that truly identifiable middle linebacker like you used to. So is that just kind of the excuses you come up when your team doesn't have one of those dynamic middle linebackers, or do those position players still matter?
Well, I mean, of course they matter. I think when you got a guy that can do both, now you don't have to look for, well, now all of a sudden they go, 3-4 wide receivers. We got to take this guy off the football field because he can't cover, right? We're good, Or if you get caught on the football field with your guy where they say you think they're going to be running the ball and they spread you out, and it's like, oh my gosh, and they run up tempo. We're in a tough situation. We got to call timeout or whatever. We got to fake an injury. Mark, y'all used to fake a lot of injuries, right? Back in the day. Yeah. I mean, you got to just, so, but if you have a guy that can do both, then you know what? Now you're good. You're good. And you're talking about a position where you got to hold up against the run, but also you got to cover these running backs and these tight ends. It's a hard thing to find. I mean, it's easy for us to say, Mark, hey, go find one of those guys, but they're hard to find.
Right. Stoke brings up a great point about up-tempo. You get a personnel package you like you think has a weakness, man, you'll just go no huddle, up-tempo a team, and you'll never let them get off the football field. So now all of a sudden, if you don't have, to Stoke's point and to Mike, you looked at this as positionless players. Positionless players mean I don't have to come off to me it means I don't have to come off the field. I can defend anything. Right, that's where you get, and that's what you want. Those guys are few and far between. They're hard to find, and offenses will definitely take advantage of you if you get a personnel package that they're like, oh my God, this guy can't cover at all. We're going to expose him, whether it's zone or man. So that's why it matters to have strength in the middle of the field. That's why it matters to have